resolution. So that is, I think, is a fundamental thing that I think needs to be recalled. It's not because someone says something that something becomes a truth. We have been suffering from that a lot at the agency here. Someone says we are passing information to Israel, and then that becomes truth. It's absurd. We are not asking anybody to draft any resolution. That's the logic of the work. The member states want some policy to be developed. They do it through resolution, and then we implement technically what is requested. So that is one thing which I think is very important, and I thank you for your question because it allows me to address this issue of the IAEA asking, or sometimes they say I like it or I dislike it. I simply follow the resolutions that the Board of Governors passes, all right? So that is very important. On the other thing, on the levels of cooperation, I always say, and I repeat this in my conversation with my Iranian counterparts, that we have to focus on the work we need to do. And this is clearly established, that we have the NPT, we have the comprehensive safeguards agreements, we have subsidiary arrangements, we have a number of norms that are guiding our work. And then occasionally we have other things, we have joint statements, or what I did in Cairo, for example, with Dr. Arakchi. We have technical understandings to help us do what we do. And I try to focus on that and to implement safeguards there, try to do it in a collaborative way. This moment is not a particularly easy one because there are areas where we are still not there, where we would like to be. All right? I said this morning to the board, we have performed a number of inspections, but we have not been able to go to the attacked sites yet. And I hope we will be able, indeed we have to go, because this is part of Iran's commitments, as long as they are part of the non-proliferation system, as long as they are within the NPT. And they said so, which I think is important. I think it's a constructive step. It's a wise decision to take, to remain in the NPT. But if you remain in the NPT, then you have to follow the obligations you have, the commitments you have. And this is not happening in the proportion that it should, because it's very important. In these facilities that were attacked, there is, I would say, we still believe, and I think this is the consensus and also being confirmed by the Iranian government, that the stockpile of enriched uranium is still there. So we need to check on that. And this is at the base. This lies at the base of these conversations we are having. How do we do it? When to do it? So I hope we'll be able to move in a constructive manner. Resolution or no resolution. I think this is something that I have been saying before this Board of Governors, before this resolution. If it is passed, is passed. So I hope we can continue this engagement.
Are you doing anything new not to be in the same position when the next board comes? That's what I want to know, because whatever you've done in the past 5 months hasn't worked. I'm asking, are you doing anything new that you haven't been doing in the past 5 months in order to gain that access, maybe gain the trust of Iranians to be able to do the agency's work?
Well, the only thing I can do is to have a dialogue with Iran. These facilities are in Iran, are Iranian facilities. So what we are discussing, and we are trying to facilitate when requested, some bilateral conversations they are having with the United States that may or may not be helpful in that regard. But basically, I come back to my earlier comment. Basically, this is between Iran and ourselves. How we do what we need, what we indispensably need to do there. I wouldn't agree when you say that it hasn't worked. that things have not worked. I think it's part of a dialogue. This is a line was crossed when the use of force took place. So there is destruction, there have been victims, there is a new law in Iran that we have to make compatible with their obligations. So it's not a particularly easy situation. In country, there is a lot of criticism of myself, of the agency, so I have to be, aware of all these things. We cannot mechanistically, I cannot expect, mechanistically that everything will be fine, just because there is I understand that. So there is a political, a sociological situation there that needs to be addressed. So I will continue insisting. It is my mission. It is my job, really.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
Hi, DG Grossi.
Hi.
The U.S. and Saudi Arabia concluded negotiations over technology sharing agreement yesterday. What is your understanding about the fuel cycle dimensions of the agreement?
Yeah.
And how does this agreement potentially impact the IAEA's verification, along with concerns over proliferation in the region?
Yeah. Well, the ink is still fresh, very fresh, on that agreement. So we are going to be sitting down with our American and Saudi colleagues. I was happy to note in the announcements that were made by Secretary Wright, and I was in touch also with the Saudi energy minister early this morning, that they are referring to their safeguards obligations. This is very important, that they have in mind that whatever they do will have to be subject, as it is, of course, in Saudi Arabia, where we have been making progress. You know that they are coming from a very minimalistic safeguards scheme with a small quantities protocol, which they rescinded in a step in this direction. So we need to see. The agreement seems to be general, at least what is publicly known, general, but it does include fuel cycle activities. So we will have to make sure that we have the ability to do that. In any case, there is time, because there is nothing yet there. So we will be looking into that. But of course, the non-proliferation, the safeguards dimension is crucial.
Right. But just to clarify, you're not. You suggested that you think it does include fuel cycle activities.
Yeah.
So that ergo means there will not be a 1, 2, 3 agreement?
Well, no, I wouldn't go into that. I think we should look at this. The 1, 2, 3 agreement is there. So, it would be me as DG of the IAEA saying that there is no 1, 2, 3 agreement.
I'm just trying to understand whether you believe there is a 1, 2, 3 agreement, or if there will be a 1, 2, 3 agreement coming, or if you've been notified about it.
No, we haven't been notified.
You haven't been notified. Okay.
No.
Hi, DJ.
Hi.
From China Media Group.
Hello.
Question about the Iran resolution.
Yeah.
So if this resolution passes, what response do you expect from Iran? And what steps will IAEA take to shield its neutral mandate and to prevent IAEA's authority from being undermined?
Well, as so happens, generally, I don't mean that the pattern will be repeated, but in general, there is some reaction to these resolutions. I don't want to anticipate what this could be and comment on what has been said, but you may have been seeing or reading some statements that have been made to that effect. So we expect our cooperation, of course, to continue, not to suffer. I don't think that it would be logical that the passing of a resolution should result in less cooperation with the agency, because, as I said, the work, sometimes we mix up words. Cooperation, yeah, it's a nicer word, but there are obligations. Of course, for these obligations to be implemented, there must be a cooperative engagement, cooperative engagement. So we hope that this will continue, especially since, as I was saying, to some of your colleagues here, there is a gap. And the gap has not been fulfilled yet. There are things that we need to see and that we need to inspect that we haven't been able to see or inspect, that we need to go and check. There is a new situation now with the snapback, with the reality that the JCPOA, at least its main verification activities deriving from it, are no longer in place, and this resolution might bring, as some of the colleagues were saying, others for us. But it would be nothing that we haven't done in the past, in general.
A follow-up. So for this one, do you believe at this stage a resolution would facilitate or jeopardize your inspection work in Iran, which just resumed?
Well, what you are asking is an intelligent way for me to tell you whether I like or I don't like a resolution. I must be in my place and implement what the Board of Governors want us to do. If there is no resolution, as I was saying, I wouldn't change my approach. Of course, a resolution may ask me and instruct me to do certain things. But even in the absence of a resolution, I would continue doing my work, pushing for the inspections that we need to do, because this is what is needed. This is what is expected from us and from Iran. So I hope that we'll be able, once, if a resolution is adopted, we will look at it, we will implement it, and of course, every inspection, implementation of an inspection activity, is done in consultation with the country. We cannot come and simply say we need to go here and there. So, and as I was also recalling, there is a new law in Iran that indicates that the notifications for inspections, they go to the Supreme National Security Council that has to consider them. So all of that will come in play.
Hi, DJ.
Hello.
Hi, Setsuko Inaki with Nippon TV. The ISIS has been reporting about the high explosion containment vessel, the new type, which is much bigger than what was sort of reported in the Ahmad project. Is this a concern of yours? And are you talking to Iran on this matter?
No, it's not something that is directly related. There were some activities in that area. You're talking about Taliban too. There were some activities in that area in the past, and there is nothing now that points to activities that should fall within the inspection regime by the IAEA.
Question in the back.
Merci beaucoup. Moussa Assi, Al-Mayadin TV. Monsieur le directeur, vous venez de mentionner qu'on est dans une nouvelle situation, donc après le snapback et aussi le 17 octobre, la fin de JCPOA. Et aujourd'hui, vraiment, on comprend techniquement pas vraiment. Vous demandez donc à l'Iran d'être présent sur place toujours, comme avant, des inspections surprises. Et aujourd'hui, donc, vous avez mentionné que vous avez visité 12 sites, mais ils ne sont pas donc, les sites que vous voulez visiter. Et par contre, les pressions sur l'Iran, donc après le snapback, aujourd'hui, on a quoi comme moyen pour, si l'Iran refuse donc, les visites surprises, la présence permanente des experts, il y a quoi comme moyen qu'on pourrait exercer pour aboutir à ce que vous voulez, surtout qu'on a, donc, on a un snapback, on a la fin de JCPOA, et eux aussi du côté de l'Iran, ils annoncent d'une façon permanente que vous, juridiquement, vous n'avez plus le droit d'exercer la même activité qu'avant, durant le JCPOA depuis 2015 jusqu'à 2025. Merci.
Bon, pour nous, c'est une situation complexe. Il faut qu'on gère cette nouvelle situation. C'est vrai, n'est-ce pas? Nous avons toujours la capacité, la juridiction et la mission d'aller inspecter. Je disais tout à l'heure que l'Iran a décidé de rester dans les régimes de non-prolifération, c'est-à-dire dans les TNP, et de cela découle un accord de garantie compréhensif qui est toujours en vigueur, qui n'est pas disparu. La question et je dirais la différence vient au niveau de la mise en application. Quand on arrive à la mise en application, on voit que certaines inspections ne peuvent pas avoir lieu. Il y a des inspections qu'on peut mener à bien et qu'on peut compléter sans problème, mais il y en a d'autres qui ne sont pas acceptées. Moi, je dirais qui restent un peu sans réponse, parce qu'il n'y a pas eu un déni formel, mais les choses traînent et on n'arrive pas à les faire. Donc voilà, donc c'est ça la situation. Si vous voulez, l'autorité, la capacité au niveau juridique, elle est là, elle n'a pas été changée ni altérée par les événements du mois de juin et les réactions d'après. L'Iran a adopté une législation interne que nous respectons, mais cette législation ne peut pas entraver aux obligations que l'Iran a en tant que membre du TNP. Donc c'est une question de gérer cette situation un peu ambiguë, si vous voulez, mais qui n'est pas ingérable. C'est pour ça que j'insiste toujours sur la nécessité de ces dialogues avec les autorités iraniennes.
Juste une clarification, s'il vous plaît.
Oui.
Est-ce que vous demandez toujours une présence permanente des experts de l'IAEA et des visites surprises? Merci.
Non, la présence permanente ou non permanente, j'ai noté déjà que parfois certains de vos collègues évoquent ça. La permanence ou non permanence est en fonction des activités qu'on a. Si nous avons une seule inspection par semaine, c'est pas la peine d'y rester 10 jours. On est là une semaine, on répare, on revient. Donc ça c'est en fonction, je veux le dire, parce que ce n'est pas parce qu'on est là tout le temps que notre accès change. L'accès est en fonction des inspections qu'on réalise. Donc c'est ça.
Hello, DJ Grossi.
Hello.
My name is Ahmad Samadi from Iran International TV.
Hello.
Iranian officials say their nuclear facility have been destroyed during the Israeli and US strikes, and there is nothing left to the inspectors to visit. What is your position on this argument, and what do the regulation require? Second question is, during the last Board of Governors, I have learned that an Iranian staff member of the agency, Dr. Amir Reza Jalilian, who worked with the IAEA, was arrested during a trip to Iran 18 months ago and has been sentenced to 10 years in prison espionage charges. Are you aware of this case, and have you spoken with the Iranian official about securing his release?
Okay, so two completely different things. So first of all, on what the authorities in Iran may be saying about the facilities, I don't know to whose statements you are talking about, but not everything has been destroyed. Some, for example, some facilities in Natanz were severely damaged, some others not. And on the others, in Isfahan, it's the same. And Fordo, yes, it has been attacked, but as I said, there is a widespread consensus on the fact that material is there. So we still may have access to that. So it's not correct to say that because everything is destroyed, there is nothing to be seen. And in any case, if a country, and here I'm talking in general, I'm not talking about Iran in particular. If a country that has facilities under inspections informs us that something has been destroyed, so we cannot perform inspections, we have to check that first. This is how a normal verification system works. It is not because a country says, you know, you cannot come, it's raining, or something is broken. So this is why, how the Comprehensive Safeguards Agreement works. On the other thing, this case is a case of a staff. It has nothing to do with the nuclear program of Iran. It's a matter that has been dealt with lawyers. We have been looking into that. It's a staff that is involved in some penal situation in country. But again, let me repeat, has nothing to do, so please let's not make strange connections. Has nothing to do with our verification activities in Iran. As you yourself say, it's almost something that it has been ongoing for almost 2 years. Of course, we look into this. It's a member of the staff, so of course there are contractual matters, legal matters. We care for the families and all of that. So we are looking into that through the appropriate channels.
Question in the back.
Thank you very much, Dieter Reinisch, Press TV Iran. I'm coming back to the question of trust that comes up from the Iranian side all the time, particular to the recent attacks on sensitive Iranian laboratory. This has created deep concern in Tehran, and many in Tehran say, you hear it in the statements, that they have the opinion that Israel have obtained this information, which can, as they say, can only be shared under IAEA safeguards. And you, of course, say this is not the case, but what I'm hearing also from the Iranian delegation here in Vienna, they demand real guarantees that such a sharing of information, of sensitive information, cannot happen in future. Are there any real guarantees that you can give the Iranian side, or are you willing to give such real guarantees to the Iranian side? This is my first question. My second question is unrelated to that, is that are there any historical precedents regarding the implementation of CSA under the circumstances where operational nuclear facilities under IAEA safeguard and containing nuclear material were subject to attacks? Are there any precedents regarding the implementation of the CSA under such circumstances? Thank you.
Well, the first, you said it yourself, is a matter of trust. It is, and I said it very, very clearly, it is completely untrue. We do not pass information to anybody. Of course, if people want to say you're passing information to somebody, well, I mean, they are free to say. There's no proof of that. The IAEA has never done that. And apart from it, the idea that an installation is attacked because of information, these facilities are well known. Where they are, what kind of work it's performed there. So frankly speaking, the repetition of a lie does not make it a true. But people may choose to continue saying that. But of course, I respect the comments that are made, and in my conversations with the Iranian government, we have addressed these issues. But to be honest with you, this thing doesn't come up so much in those conversations, which means that, frankly speaking, is a matter of maybe a political statement which is made, and I understand it. I don't agree with it, but and the second part of the question was, sorry?
The second part of the question was the question if there are any precedents regarding the implementation of the CSA.
Well, again, here I should say no. There have been attacks on nuclear facilities in the past, but this no. But let me say, because it has been said that because there is no precedent for this, the IAEA cannot inspect because there are no specific protocols for that. Again, that is inaccurate, and I will say it very, very clearly. These are facilities that were physically attacked. The only thing that you may need in case there was something like this is contamination, which at this point is very, very limited, and if it does exist, it can be dealt with protective equipment, so there is no problem, or the physical precautions that you should take when accessing a building which has been damaged or is structurally weakened. Apart from that, we know exactly what we need to do. When the material may be spread, we know exactly what kind of sampling we need to do. So again, I want to dispel formally this idea that because there was an attack, we have to develop a new protocol, a new manual of inspections. This is not correct, and your question allows me to clarify this point, which is very important indeed.
That was the last question. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for your attention and for coming. Thank you.